Good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us for this presentation this afternoon, part of Kerby Centre's Spring into 2021 week-long series of online presentations by some of Calgary's leading providers of information and services to help you live your best lives. Before we begin, as we gather here today, it's vital we also remember the peoples who gathered here for millennia. This is the Treaty 7 land of the Indigenous peoples of Southern Alberta, the Blackfoot Nations of 𝗖𝐸𝐵𝗂𝐻𝐁, 𝗏𝗂𝐰, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, the Stoney Nakoda Nations of 𝗺𝗖𝐸𝐵𝗂𝐻, 𝗏𝗺𝗲, and Wesley, and the historic home of the Northwest Métis and Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. It is with the goal of reconciliation that we acknowledge the land on which we gather, and we thank the elders of these nations for their timeless contributions to this land. As I mentioned, we have an exciting week planned for you this week to help you spring into 2021. All week long, we'll present a wide range of topics and interests that will help you maintain a healthy and rewarding lifestyle. This afternoon, we feature the Manor Villages and welcome Tina Cameron, lifestyle marketing professional. Tina started in the retirement industry 13 years ago and has been working with the Manor Village Life Centres the past 7 years. Her passion for business and helping seniors has been the perfect marriage for the various sales roles she's had over the years. Tina has carved a niche in helping companies open new communities and filling those that are struggling. She has worked with a number of national companies, but her most recent success has been the opening of the 255-unit Manor Village at Fish Creek Park. Tina's current focus is launching the Manor's newest development in Currie Barracks called Green. Over the years, Tina has helped develop numerous programs to enhance the lifestyle experience for every resident. Simply put, Tina's great joy is to guide seniors in the journey of finding a new home that suits their needs. Tina, the Manor Villages is known as the community with heart, and you have several locations in Calgary offering a wide variety of lifestyle choices. Tell us how the Manor Villages came about and what are the benefits of community living?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, yourself, Colleen, and on behalf of the Kerby Centre, very excited to be here today and share my passion in spreading knowledge in regards to senior living, how to navigate it. And today I thought we'd focus on the benefits of community living. So to answer your question, that is my first slide here, is who is the Manor Village Life Centres? And whether you've heard of us or not, we've been in Calgary now for almost 30 years. And we started at our first property in Signal Hill area called the Manor Village at Signature Park. And it was created by Dr. Garth Mann, who was an estate home builder and ophthalmologist who wanted to find a suitable place for his mother. And so he searched high and low for a property, and he couldn't find anything that really suited what her needs were. So he ventured out on his own and started the company Manor Village along with his building company Statesman, and created Signature Park. So it's been a huge journey for our company. We now have 7 properties in Calgary, and we have 3 more coming in the new community of Currie Barracks, and that is called Currie Green. And we also have a property in London and Scottsdale, Arizona, if you're chasing the sun all year round. So that's an exciting property for us. So we do pride ourselves on being local and really providing a whole array of care for our residents, from independent living through to assisted living, memory care, a program we call enhanced care that I'll talk about later. And we even are able to provide palliative care. The whole concept is to try and enable our residents to age in place. And so that's who we are and where we come from, to sum it up. And to give a more visual, if you know Calgary well, we're kind of covering all quadrants of the city. And we have our 7 properties listed here: Garrison Woods. And we also have another one in Garrison Woods called the Staywell Manor. Our newest location at the top is Fish Creek. In the north, we have Huntington Hills and Rocky Ridge and the Groves of Varsity. and Signature Park, which was our flagship original community, and London, Ontario. So super excited and proud of where our company's come from and where it continues to go. So these are all of our locations. So that was exactly what I wanted to answer right off the bat, Colleen. I'll carry on for the rest of the presentation here, and just continuing on our intro here. Colleen mentioned as well our property called Currie Green. It's going to be quite the property coming up in 2023. And so I'll kick it off with this. On the corner, the left-hand corner of our screen there, you see the entire span of the property, and it's nestled right in the community of 𝗿𝗄𝐵, which is west of Crowchild and sort of parallel to just near 33rd and Flanders Avenue on the other side there. And on this property currently, there is the old officers' mess building. It's the building on the property there that looks like an X. And you may have heard of this property. It's an old, the old historical mess property, where really it was a gathering space for the military. And we've tried to preserve its historical presence, and we've completely renovated it. And it is a property where we have a kitchen, meals to go, Flanders Fine Foods. We have a 13-unit boutique hotel there. We have a wedding events facility. We have a florist, a hair salon, a pub called the Snake Pit in the basement, and our to-go meals, of course. So that's fully up and running. It's been kind of a challenge because it just opened in October 2020. And of course, that's been in coincided with COVID. But it's there, it's up and running. The residents and neighbors of the area are super happy with it. But to come are the three large buildings behind it. They will be a retirement community where the concept is a month-to-month lease property. It will comprise of a total of 431 units that do range from independent living all the way up to higher ends of care of enhanced care and memory care. They are large, spacious units. Many of them do have full kitchens, in-suite laundry, the park right out front. There's 13 kilometers of a walking trail nearby across the road. It's just going to be a fantastic community location. And on the third building that we call the Academy of Aging, on the bottom two floors, there will be what we call a medical mecca, really. The Academy of Aging will have medical retail space for day surgery clinics and all sorts of specialists. So that's going to complete the community, basically be really full circle right on site there. So we're extremely excited about this property. So I'll leave it at that from kind of like who we are, where we come from. Our next slide here, it reads blank right now, but it's a little video, and I would love to share this with you because it's something we put together really to give the landscape of community living and how we can support people. So it is 2 minutes, bear with me. I will dig in deeper with explanations and continue on the benefits, but we'll kick off with this this video here. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll do that if I can get this going. Can you hear it, Colleen?
Yes.
Okay, let me.
Meet Rachel, David, Myrtle. David is 82 and uses a walker. He's very spry, but is beginning to realize he needs help with managing his daily needs, including dressing and bathing. Myrtle suffered a fall last summer and fractured her hip. Her husband can no longer manage the stresses of caring for his wonderful wife, and he fears he can no longer balance her alone, in and out of bed. Rachel was recently diagnosed with dementia, and her daughter is so very worried because she is starting to wander without realizing where she is going. She almost got hit by a car at Christmas. Slippery streets are especially hard on seniors living alone with limited social interaction because they experience difficulty getting to and from appointments. Imagine the loneliness of living alone, trying to retain a positive outlook on life, as well as retaining memory with aging. Many families have experienced the need to make the wise decision to provide the assistance that may be required with aging. There are many stages in life, and being elderly should not be the end of enjoying life. People of all ages want to feel personally centered, which means that we at the Manor Village must understand a new resident's past in order to meet their personal interests and activities. At the Manor Villages, we communicate. This includes knowing special diets and favorite food options, as well as the importance of social interaction with activities and entertainment, in addition to our mobility, stretch, and flex classes each morning at 𝗿𝗵𝗿𝗆. Rachel, David, and Myrtle are enjoying life again. They are stimulated and they have so much to look forward to each day at the Manor Village. More than this, when they need to see a doctor, a dentist, or a physiotherapist, or even have their hearing checked with the audiologist, these services are conveniently located on the main and second floors of the Advanced Medical Group. Most importantly, the Advanced Medical Group services the whole community of London. This means that families are always visiting because they are at the pharmacy, or Dynacare labs, or cardiology stress testing. It's all here, including the finest surgical suites in Ontario. London is a community where people love to garden. Our Manor Village residents have their own garden club, including a herb garden that adds a special touch to our salads. Living at the Manor Villages is better than living alone, and there is so much to see and do. Come and enjoy our home-cooked breads and pizzas at the Apple a Day Bistro, and you will experience the life that is being enjoyed by the residents at the Manor Village. As Rachel, David, and Myrtle know, the Manor Village is the community for senior supportive care in London. They enjoy the benefits of quality aging in place, being home at the Manor Village.
Thanks for that. Thanks for taking that moment to watch that. I think what we were trying to communicate there, although it was speaking to our property in London, that is what we have at all of our communities and what we are bringing to our Currie Barracks community. But we wanted to give you a picture of what some benefits are in moving to a community. And really there's so many, but it's usually, where do you start? What do you do? And so we created this slide here saying that although we're not necessarily directly in your position when you're coming forward asking us questions, we do understand, because we've worked with so many people who have shared similar stories or similar conversations that start with, where do I begin? So we know how challenging it is to make a move, to make even the decision of where to choose, understand that it's stressful. It's extremely overwhelming if you've lived in your home for 40 plus years, and how to downsize, where to even begin. And really, it's just all scary. So being here today, starting the conversation is a great start. Talking, touring with a professional like myself, whether at the Manor Village or another community, is also a great start. So in saying that we understand, the Manor Village really starts its benefits of senior living at the core foundation of what we call health and wellness, the 4 pillars. That's what we base all of our programs on. All of our day-to-day activities, our meal plans, everything is based on what is important for our senior population. So we have exercise, frequent movement being one pillar. We have healthy eating, nutrition as obviously being super important for our senior population. Sleep with rest and recovery being another pillar that's important to us. And our mental wellness. Emotional well-being is another pillar. All of these pillars are important for us to instill different programs to take care of the seniors that live within our building. So this is really the foundation of where it starts from and how we preserve the independence of our residents. Directly on site, what you'll see is, to support those pillars of well-being, you'll see a number of experts and whatnot that was listed in the video. We have sleep experts who will come in and give tips and strategies to our seniors on how to get that better sleep rhythm so that they can optimize their health. We often have massage therapists on site, geriatric pharmacists, mobility specialists, That is a huge one, because so often we see our seniors deferring to walkers or canes, and sometimes not even using a device where they really need one. So these mobility specialists will come in, do a full assessment, and will guide the resident into a program that will strengthen their balance and their overall mobility, and suggest aids, and even at the proper height. So often we see seniors using a walker and it's right out in front of them and they're sort of walking with a hunched back, you know, like that. And that's not going to be good for them. So these mobility specialists will look at the whole picture, will get the walker fitted directly to their size and scale, and that's going to help them. These are all little things to better their day-to-day life, their day-to-day life living. We have mobile lab services that comes regularly, usually twice a week. All of our properties have visiting physicians. So the common conversation we have is, if you do have a doctor that you like or a specialist, obviously keep them. But if you don't, if you're moving from out of province or from another city or are not getting along, you are looking for a change in your physician, we have that option. So we do meet and greets with our doctors, who are all specialists in geriatrics, and we can get the resident set up with the right fit for a physician. We have a podiatrist. How many seniors do you know of that need foot care? You know, basically every senior. So this is another super convenient program that we offer at our buildings. Regular blood pressure clinics, hearing and eye clinics, and the list goes on. So all these experts come on site to make it easy for the senior. We live in Calgary. It snows, weather's horrible, hard to get out, puts pressure on families. So these specialists come on site and truly make it easy for the resident. To further that, the health and wellness program includes that there's always a nurse on site 24 hours a day. How often do you have a senior at home that might call a family member a couple times a day just for something small? So that's where our staff would really take over and be able to field questions, to reassure our residents. They're on site 24 hours a day with the use of our emergency response program. Our program is called the 𝐻𝑒RA program. It works really well and directly accesses our nursing staff whenever they're needed. And then on top of that, if a resident's living within our community and we're noticing a change in their health, whether it's their eating patterns, whether we're noticing that they're asking a number of questions or the same questions over and over, as a team, we notice these and we may call in a family conference, and then we're able to develop a custom wellness program. So the benefit there is that you have so many eyes, so many extra helping hands to help the senior living in community, that it's just like a big community of helping hands around them. And then the resident would also have access to our wellness director that really is there to help consult. If someone was feeling dizzy one day, if someone, their eyesight was blurry or they felt a little extra nauseous, we always have our wellness director who's certified and trained and is able to talk to our residents at any time. Their door is always open. So I would say on the health front of things, these are a lot of the reasons why one might consider moving into a community to have the support, the specialists right at their fingertips. There's a lot of fine print on this page, but this is just really further the conversation of services that are included when you move into our communities. How often have you had a senior reach out, a loved one reach out to you, say their TV's not working, or I can't get my FaceTime working to connect with my family member? We have our maintenance team, our housekeeping team on site all the time to help and field those types of concerns and questions. And the level of reassurance that gives to our residents is so much. Recently, we had a lady who moved from Montreal a few months back, and her family doesn't live right in Calgary. They live a few cities away. and got her moved in to be closer, but she still has a number of boxes in her unit. And it has brought her so much anxiety that she continues to sort of reach out. And then there's the thing where residents don't want to bother their family members. They don't want to ask them for help. So we developed a plan to disperse, get rid of all the boxes, organize her things, get a few extra cabinets, whether IKEA or wherever. And we helped her create a space that she was comfortable in and happy with. And her anxiety has gone completely down. So these are the little things, but are so big to our seniors at our retirement home. And that's what we do so well. Benefits. More again. Activity programs, helping to stay active in mind and body. With how much people can be busy at our communities, usually the phrase is, when someone moves in, a son or daughter might say, I can't even get a hold of them anymore. They're never in their suite to talk to them on the phone because they're out involved in something. So between exercise programs at any level, mindful meditation programs, crafts, book clubs, my goodness, the list goes on. We've started our walking program as of late with this nice weather. That really perks people up. We want our residents to stay engaged, to stay active. Okay, that saying, whether if you don't use it, you lose it. We see that. We've seen it, and it happens when people are sitting idle at home and just not having that level of engagement. So daily exercise programs. Oh, I skipped dining and meals. Super important. We have various programs, especially at our new program at Currie. We have a flexible dining program. Not everyone wants as many meals. So we have flexible programs where it could be 30 meals a month. So really that might equate to 1 meal a day or 2 one day and 0 another day. But the average program really is 2 meals a day. They're all certified by our nutritionists, our Red Seal chefs, and we all have lots of offerings. Lots of offerings in that there's gluten-free options, low sodium, sugar-free, and there's always a slew of options if you don't like the 2 features of the day. So food really is our forte, and our residents are super happy. So nutrition couldn't be more important. Again, the amount of seniors that we see living at home who really just aren't eating properly, and then going through that cyclical chain where, let's say, they're not keeping hydrated, and then the resident has a UTI, and then they're a bit extra loopy or delirious. So common. If you find a parent going through and experiencing that, get them checked for a UTI. Common. I'm not a nurse, but typically it's a common trait that we see within our seniors. So we went through the emergency response, skilled nursing staff, transportation. Really great one, because many people who move into our communities may be on the cusp of driving, may not be driving anymore. We do have underground parking for those that do, and above ground parking. But for those who don't, or just don't feel comfortable driving anymore, we have a transportation program where it usually goes out a couple days a week to a mall and a grocery store, gets the resident out and active. And we usually build in some really great programs where, when the Glenbow Museum opened, we took our residents there. We'll do country drives, all sorts of really great things. So that keeps our residents also engaged. Of course, we have the beauty salon, the barber shop, manicures for those to keep tip-top on their personal hygiene, landscaping, snow removal, outside window cleaning. This is a conversation that usually starts the momentum of looking at a retirement community, right? Mom and dad can't keep up with their home anymore. It's just tough. It's hard. Well, you know what? Move into a community. It's all taken care of for you. You never have to worry about that again. Property taxes, heat, water, sewage, all included. And then you have your choice of 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms. We'll get into that after. But again, just to add to the benefits, a couple specific programs I wanted to touch on briefly that the Manor Village has. One's called Seeing is Believing. if COVID has shown us anything this year, it's that we really need to incorporate some technologies into our world and have some level of comfort. So Seeing is Believing is a program that any of our residents can access anytime that is online. So if there's not a program in person taking place, we have Seeing is Believing that can keep them engaged, and it has a slew of fitness classes, brain teasers, trivia, meditation, sing-alongs. We even have Netflix or different shows on there that really resonate with our residents. So again, just that pushing towards that technology side to continue to keep our residents going. We have a wonderful fall prevention program, and we work with 𝗻 Therapy, who I believe is doing a Zoom session.
Yes, we met with them on Monday. Great fellas.
Can't say enough about them. They truly are amazing. We've seen them do work miracles, where we had this lady who was 96, and she was really bound to a wheelchair. She had very limited mobility. And what they realized, it was just really her strength. And the two Jeffs at 𝗻 Therapy worked with her. And I would say within 6 months, she was able to get out of her walker without using her hands.
Wow.
And, you know, so we have seen these miracles. This company takes the time to really understand. They probably talked about the balance tracker and how they can really figure out your core stability and your risk of falls. But we work with companies, particularly 𝗻 Therapy, but specialists like that to help our residents. Okay.
They referenced their work with you, and the presentation was full of great information. So we were
really
pleased
great
to have them.
So, you know, it's something that you can reach out to them personally at your home to build a program for a senior. Enhanced care is really our take of a private version of long-term care. So for those that are looking for an alternative to the AHS long-term care program, we do have that within our portfolio at our company, and it allows our residents to stay there as long as possible with combination of palliative care. So we just put that in there quickly to say we try to push the envelope in having our residents stay with us as long as possible. True aging in place community. The Academy of Aging, really within that is those 4 pillars, but it's not just about, okay, well, what can we do to help the resident who's already has low mobility? It's talking about prevention, really educating, and it's a program that educates for these comorbidities that are happening that we really can change with engaging our minds, engaging our bodies, having proper nutrition, and back to sleep. If we can do this in advance, even at my age, whatever age you're at, it's only going to help you.
Very innovative program, keeping people engaged and proactive.
Well, if I could say anything about this, it's to be proactive in what your plan is for yourself or your loved one. Clever Vision is something that we're working on. It's coming, again, pushing the envelope with the technologies to keep our residents safe, involved and in communication with their loved one. And this is really spurred by COVID. How often that there was a period of time when some of our residents weren't seeing their loved ones. And so keeping that line of communication opening is so valuable to our mental health. And so we had a program where our staff members were making sure that our residents were connecting, whether helping them with FaceTime, Zoom, calls, whatever it was. It was on our radar. So now we're creating a program that is just automatically in their unit, essentially on their TV. And they can just say, dial Susie, my daughter Susie today, and it'll go to her. That whole Seeing is Believing program will be at the touch of their fingertips. There'll be a program who checks in. How are you? Good morning, Colleen. How are you today? You know, time to take your meds at 9 o'clock. So we have a program that's coming that maybe feels a bit robotic, but it is going to complement our in-person services as well, just to really be full service. So we're excited about that.
And
So
making your residents feel connected.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, further benefits and specific to the Manor Village are those such programs. We created this slide as saying, okay, so we've all been living through COVID. I think we're all, have COVID, there's words, COVID fatigue, COVID drain, basically just done and ready to move on. And you see the optimism with people getting vaccinated. All of our residents have had their 2 vaccinations, so really excited about that. Many of our staff members are well on their way to at least having 1. But we've been really successful at our communities for a number of reasons. We had a really fast, rapid response program. And one of the first things that we did was made sure that people were only working in one community and not having that spread of transmission with people working at different communities. Daily screenings right away, temperature checks, monitoring risk levels of everyone. We actually have our dining room manager check everyone's temperature at the dining room, check in on their symptoms by visually doing it. Made a difference, is making a difference. We were very effective on our isolation programs, great PPE protocols. We did continue to allow visitors at various levels because we knew how important that was. So we just really were, would say strict on our screening measures, but at most of our communities where we were able to, we did continue to allow visitors, and that's kept the health and wellness of our residents' mental health, I think, pretty good. The technologies, we have this great program called Dr. Wellness. When everyone comes in, it is a computer program. You press yes or no, depending on if you have symptoms or not. It takes your temperature, screens you, logs everyone who comes in. So allows us to track everyone who's in our building, when, how, why. And it's been a great program for us. We have a UVC light that we go over all high touch surfaces, that it's a technology where it kills bacteria, the viral bacteria. So that's been great for us. So in saying all of those great things, we feel we've done a great job with COVID, and we've seen many people continue to move in during this time. There was a short period where at the beginning, the world just closed down, and then slowly started opening up, and we've seen people coming. And we've actually seen people coming back who were going to move in around the time at the beginning of COVID, and then, have called us back, and their health has just changed. It's just natural, and being in their home, secluded, not having access to various services and whatnot, their health needs have changed. And so we're seeing a lot of people come to us now where we're able to support them, but that word proactive continues to keep at top of mind, right? To not wait until you absolutely need to move. Plan for it, right? Move where you can enjoy all these benefits.
I was just going to say, it sounds like a wonderful place to be, and you'd want to be able to be in a position of being able to enjoy all that it offers.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've seen mental health on the rise, where we've seen many of our residents thrive. And I have one in particular story where I think it was around Christmas time, because I was going around to some of the people who had been on my prospects, who had been inquiring and thinking about moving in, but obviously not moving in for various reasons, maybe based on COVID or whatnot. So we dropped off care packages. And I had this one lady who opened her door and just started crying, because she was so touched that someone had come to visit her and check in on her. And she just wanted me to come in and converse. And of course, we had to stay really far apart and do all the right things, but you could just see how lonely she was and how it was affecting her. And after that meeting, I went back and I went to one of our residents, Signature Park, and I walked in, and there was a pocket of residents communicating, playing cards, another pocket of residents listening to music. and it was just alive. There was still, people were still living. And it made me really sad for those who were suffering during this time. So if there is anything, like I said earlier, if it's just reaching out to someone for a conversation, there's people out there who are there to listen. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So it is a good time to move. Here's the basics of, you know, when you do move into a community at the Manor Village, most of our communities, or I would say all of our communities, essentially have full kitchens. And a lot of people think they don't. A lot of people think you're giving up a ton. Of course, you are downsizing, and we have specialists to help with that. But there are communities like ours who have full kitchens, in-suite laundry to keep your private suite. They feel like luxury condos. They're super spacious. I think sometimes people think everything sometimes is green walls and dim lights, and you know, there's a lot of really beautiful communities out there. Balconies, patios, you know, you see this picture, updated vinyl plank floors and quartz countertops and neutral palettes. You can really make it your own. This one's a little more modern. We obviously have a whole array of communities that are more traditional, etc. So the good thing to know is that most communities, our communities, are a month-to-month lease program, and there are huge benefits in that. Take the sale of your home, take your savings, invest it, make money off that, you know, and just keep that money and those dividends or however you're paying, and pay month to month. Don't tie up a large portion of your savings into a community at 80, 90 years old, right? The month-to-month lease really works for our residents. So I put some price ranges there of starting points and square footages, so you can see, you know, there are options and nice spacious units out there. I think we have a few more minutes.
Yeah.
I put this together because this is nicely spread out in one of our packages. And when you talk about pricing and costing and evaluating and the stress of understanding it, and maybe seeing that $4,000 a month and saying, oh, that is a lot, and it is a lot. But when you start comparing, you know, your expenses at home versus moving into our community or a community, you know, you start realizing your expenses add up. So when you look at property taxes, your electricity, sewer, water, repairs, there's always ongoing repairs. I have a house from the 1960s. My goodness, we're getting hit this year with all the repairs. We have when you start calculating all your meals, housekeeping, if you have a housekeeper, transportation and the cost to maintain a car, those emergency response programs to have someone stay safely at home, fitness, entertainment, condo fees, it starts adding up. I think you would be surprised if you actually wrote all this out and compared it to the monthly figures. Now that you have an idea of who we are and understand all the benefits of community living, the big question might be, well, how do I even start? What's next, right? So I have a quick slide. I only have a couple more slides. Is essentially, you know, usually what people do is go and tour a couple communities. If you call, it's good to narrow it down. You usually don't need to go see 10. Location, budget, care levels are usually the most important things as to how and why or where you would narrow down your search for. Once you find one, usually put a deposit. So we take a deposit, and that usually can hold a unit up to 4 to 8 weeks for someone to move in. That usually is enough time to get your ducks in a row to downsize and prepare to move. Next, and this is partial to our community, the Manor Village, we have specific forms that we have your doctor fill out. And then you'd have an on-site assessment with our wellness director. And this is really to determine where you're at, how we can support you, what does that support look like going forward, Does independent living suit you best, assisted living? And that's probably a whole nother presentation on what are the definitions of independent living and assisted living and memory care and all of that. But if you did need help, feel free to call me. Happy to help clarify. Then you'd sign a lease agreement. We do a month-to-month lease agreement, as mentioned. You'd choose a move-in date. And then we're saying work with professionals, family members to help make the move. Okay, that's kind of the simple flow of what would happen next. And what I would say is create a team around you, gather a team, whether it's family, friends. I had a friend looking for someone the other day, and I set her up with a bunch of professionals. These are some professionals that we refer to. Kerby Centre is such a great resource for helping people navigate the system. Find a good realtor, a good downsizer. Destination Seniors Downsizing has been awesome with our clients. Defer to a financial institution, a financial planner. Talk about your financials, understand what your budget is able to afford and what that looks like. Proactive Seniors is a great referral company, and they are, in essence, be proactive, look at your options, let us help you. So many benefits to community senior living. We often have people move in and say they wish they did it 5-10 years ago. It's classic. I understand it's a process for everyone, but we really have the tools, resources, teams to create a beautiful lifestyle for seniors looking for their next steps. So I think that was about 35 minutes.
Good job. Good job. Lots of great information there. If you'd like to turn off your screen share, we'll open it up. And I think we have some questions coming in already here. So I think lots of good information, and people will have lots of questions for you here. It just sounds like a wonderful, peaceful place.
Okay, you're going to have to help me. How?
Just end screen share. Go to the bottom and
yeah, I don't have. Stop share.
There we go. There we go. Now I can see you full screen. That was just wonderful. Thank you very much. And the Currie Green sounds amazing. We couldn't ask for a better location.
Yeah.
Right in the heart of downtown. So that sounds like an amazing community for you. At this time, I would invite anybody that would like to ask a question again to please pop your question into Q&A or chat. If you'd like to ask your question, then by all means, raise hand and we'll open it up for you. Maureen, thanks very much for joining us today. Appreciate having you here with us again. Thank you for detailed presentation. I'm a 76-year-old widow still in my own home, being very healthy and active. A lot of what you offer is very attractive, but I really don't need meals at this time. Is there a discount if there are no meals included?
So really what this gentleman is asking for is probably more similar to what we're offering at Currie. I would say the average community does offer 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day is typically what you'll find in the community. But Currie Green is trying to accommodate those a little bit younger demographic, super active, maybe even a snowbird still. And so they're offering a program that is a flex program that does have 30 meals a month. So you can share that with a friend or have family members over. You essentially, it's usually just like a minimum. If you did go away for the month or two, you can defer the meals. So Currie really for this style of living is probably one of the only properties in the city that has something like that. Alternatively, really it's a condo with not all those great benefits, with no meals, or something like Currie, or the 2 to 3 meals a day. So I'd be happy to share and even email you more information about Currie.
Sure, absolutely. We'll share website and contact here so that, and if you'd like to pop that into chat, perhaps how people can get in touch with you. And when you do that, perhaps just check to all attendees as well so that they can capture your contact if they'd like to ask you some questions after the fact. Maureen also has said, in considering a rental instead of purchasing an apartment condo, one of the concerns is rental increases. How often do you raise your rates?
That's a really good question. And it's important to know that I would say at all retirement communities, you will see rental increases. How our company does it is we do review our rates annually. And it really will just be off of the price that you're paying. And it's an average of 1 to 3%. Typically, I have seen other properties go a little bit higher. We've never found that to be a benefit to ours, but when choosing a community, you will want to budget for some type of increase. Mm-hmm. Some years we have an increase. I think the last 2 years at the property I'm working at right now, Signature Park, we have not had an increase. So they take all life circumstances, inflation into account.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Tom has asked, are the units furnished?
Another great question. Typically, no. I would say that you bring all your own furniture, make it home, hang your pictures, make it as comfortable, bring all your treasures and trinkets. But we have in the past done a couple units where we've helped people and source and help fill them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Anyone else have any other questions?
I had one other thing that I had noted that I wanted to mark, because right before I got onto the Zoom call, I had a pretty emotional conversation with a lady who has a husband who has memory loss, and same typical, doesn't know where to start, is overwhelmed. She doesn't know if she's going to move in with him because she's quite young and independent, and if they're ready for this and what that looks like. So one of the programs that I didn't mention was we have a respite program, and it's a short-term stay. Mm-hmm. And as of late, we've seen lots of people take advantage of that if they have a surgery and just need to recover, can't go home, and could value from the meals and support, housekeeping, emergency nearby, the nursing staff. But for this lady in particular, I mentioned that to her after she just sort of turtled and shut down and said, I can't even think about what's next. And I said, well, what about like giving yourself a break and getting your husband a short-term stay and trying it that way? Mm-hmm. And she again burst into tears and said, I hadn't even thought about that, but I think that could be a great solution, and it would allow us to give us a feel. So, we can customize programs for people to help where they're at in the process. Mm-hmm. So I just thought I'd share that respite.
It's a great opportunity for, whether it's a wife and a husband or children looking after their parents. And, you often refer to the fact that you can't look after someone until you look after yourself. And sometimes you just get to a point where, and so that's a great opportunity for people to be able to have that ability to just take a break.
Absolutely.
So Alina has asked, is there a fridge and small stove? But I think you said that there's full kitchen.
Yeah, there's full kitchens. I mean, we do have some that have kitchenettes, but it's a full-size fridge in majority of our locations. And it's not even a small stove, it's a regular cooking stove. And so that's been a huge feature for many seniors, because although they may be getting some meals, I think the residents like the idea of having the option to bake, warm something up, cook something. So we have really nice appointed kitchens.
No, absolutely. It makes you feel like you're in your own home. It's to take some of that angst of having transitioned, when you can feel like you're in your own little home or a little apartment and can fend for yourself. And Maureen wanted to know about having, can a resident have relatives or friends visit from out of town overnight in their suite, or perhaps do you have guest suites?
Yeah, all of our properties have guest suites. And so again, another benefit to keep our residents connected with their friends and family. And people can stay in their suites as well. You know, we had one family member stay 6 months. So that sort of became a resident concern about our lease agreement. But no, often we encourage people and family members stay all the time, whether in a guest suite or with their family member.
Absolutely. And I think that that's one of the things too for older adults is the fact that, you know, we have grandchildren and the kids like to come for a sleepover at Nana's and, you know, that kind of thing. So it's nice that that your residents can have that opportunity to, you know, to have their family and keep some of those traditions going. And so Cindy has asked about the contact. Are you able to type that in, or do you want me to type it in?
Let me know if this comes up.
Just check the box. It says all panelists and attendees, and then that way they'll get it as well.
My goodness, I need to take a program on Zoom. So if I get out of here and go to chat again and click all panelists
and attendees, there's two checks, one all panelists and one all and attendees.
Okay, so let me know if this comes up. Okay, Tina Cameron, did that come up?
No, if you just type it in the chat box, like if you go to the chat button at the very bottom.
Yeah, I feel like I am in the chat. I apologize.
That's okay.
Can I voice it to you, Colleen?
I was going to say, if you want to just tell me, I'll type it in there.
So full name, Tina Cameron. And 403-918-2127.
So Tina, and this is your phone, Tina Cameron, 403-918-2127.
And my email is my name, Tina C at @themanorvillage.com.
So Tina at themanorvillage.com.
Tina C. Yeah.
Tina C at themanorvillage.com or 403-918-2127 for anybody that would like to connect with Tina for further information. Jennifer is asking, may I ask if you could give us some cost range? I think you'd had a slide up there with some of the costs there I think there was a range of like about.
Yeah, so here I'm talking about private community living, because there is a difference between public and subsidized. So just keeping on the theme of private independent assisted living, there are studios out there. The average is around 2,900 and up. Usually you're looking 300 to 500 square feet. A one bedroom, you're looking at approximately 500 to 800 square feet, and that can be anywhere from around 3,800 to 4,800. The average is usually around 4,200 for a one bedroom, and I'm kind of talking broad strokes because I've done a lot of competitive analysis throughout the city. A two bedroom, you're really looking 800 square feet to our large property at Fish Creek and Currie up and coming is about 1,300 square feet. And you'd be looking anywhere from about 4,800 to about, it can go up to 6,500 a month.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like there's lots of options. So like, Jennifer, if you'd like to reach out to Tina at either of those contacts, I'm sure she'll have lots of options for you. Got another Q&A. So Jennifer came in just a little bit late, so she didn't catch that slide. Jennifer, again, we will have a recording for you when we have that converted and on a link to our YouTube channel. I'll be sharing that with all of the attendees today as well, so you'll get that in a few days too. Maureen, is there an option to have a roommate in a two bedroom? Can you share accommodation?
Yeah, so I mean, typically you'd see couples, but I actually have two sisters moving in.
Oh,
And I had a sister ask if a friend could move in. So definitely there's options out there.
ways of being able to share the
Yeah.
cost there. Wonderful. Anyone else anymore? Any further questions? This has been fascinating. Thank you very much. I think that this is a great answer for people out there that given up on the fact of having to look after lawns and house and maintenance and the energy bills and all of that. So this gives them an opportunity just to kind of move in, put their feet up, relax, and enjoy the rest of their lives. So thank you very much for offering.
Officially retire.
Officially retire, yes. Lovely, lovely. Well, if there's no further questions that are coming, Tina, thank you very much. Thank you to you and Manor Villages for everything that you're doing, and to everyone that has joined us here today.